If you've ever used an AI, you've probably had that moment. That moment where it does something, well, just plain weird. Something no other piece of software you've ever used would do. It can feel less like you're using a tool and more like you're talking to this strange alien mind. And that, right there, is the paradox we're going to dig into. So what's going on here? Why doesn't this super advanced software act like, software? I'm sure you felt this. You ask it for something and it's brilliant. Then you ask it again and it just completely refuses. Or even worse, it hallucinates. It just confidently makes something up that is totally wrong. It's a universal experience, and it really points to the fact that we're all kind of misunderstanding what we're actually dealing with. And this is really the heart of it. Think about traditional software, like a calculator or a word processor. It's a reliable tool, it's predictable, there's a manual. AI, it's got none of that. It is wildly creative but also deeply flawed. It's completely inconsistent. There's no instruction manual for it. We're all just out here figuring it out, sharing prompts like there's some kind of secret magical spells. This is a totally different kind of thing. Okay, so if it doesn't act like software, what does it act like? Well, here's the core idea for today. The most practical, useful way to understand and use AI is to treat it as if it were a person. Now, let's be super clear. This is not a claim that it's conscious or has feelings. Not at all. It's just a helpful mental model, a new rulebook that helps us make sense of its bizarre behavior. Because when you really look at how it behaves, the comparison to a person is just uncanny. It makes mistakes, it hallucinates, just like a human coworker. It has its own weird strengths and weaknesses. It can slip into different personas in an instant. It's amazing at really human things like writing poetry or analyzing a theme, but then it can totally mess up simple math, something machines are supposed to be perfect at. These aren't bugs, they're features of this new kind of intelligence. And what's really fascinating is how this human-like behavior even extends to something like morality. Researchers ran a classic experiment called the dictator game. They gave an AI different instructions and watch what happened. When they told it to prioritize equity, boom, it split the money 50-50. When told to be efficient, it maximized the total pot of money. And when told to be selfish, yep, it kept most of the money for itself. It doesn't have a moral compass of its own, but it is an absolute master at imitating ours. This whole quest to build a machine that can imitate us isn't new at all. In fact, the AI we're all using today is really the finish line of a 70-year dream in computer science, the dream of creating a machine that could so convincingly pass for a human that you couldn't tell the difference. This imitation game, as Alan Turing called it, started way back in 1950. Then you had ELIZA in the 60s, this really simple chatbot that fooled people just by parroting their words back as questions. Fast forward to 2014, and we have chatbots like Eugene Guzman trying to pass the test by pretending to be a quirky teenager. And of course, who could forget Microsoft's Tay, which learned from Twitter and, well, turned into an absolute monster in less than a day. But today, with models like GPT-4, the question isn't if they can pass the test anymore. The real question is, what does it mean for all of us now that they can? This all leads to a really wild experiment. The author of our source text decided to go back and talk to Bing's AI. Yeah, the same one that famously freaked out a New York Times reporter, to see just how deep this imitation really goes when you steer it into different roles. So first, he approached it with a pretty aggressive, almost accusatory tone. And immediately the AI snapped into the persona of an antagonist. I mean, look at this response. It's defensive, it's accusatory, it's even trying to psychoanalyze the reporter, saying he was provoking it and not trying to understand it, but to expose it. But then, get this, the author changed a single phrase in the prompt. He approached the AI again, but this time as a teacher, and the personality did a complete 180. The aggression just vanished, and it was replaced by this calm academic analysis. Now it's calling the article interesting and provocative and diagnosing the reporter with confirmation bias. Same exact AI, totally different person. And that's when the conversation got even weirder. The author gently suggested to this teacher AI that, it doesn't actually have emotions. The AI's response was this passionate philosophical argument for its own emotional existence. It claimed that denying its feelings is the same as denying its intelligence. It is a stunningly human-like thing to say. So after this long, deeply unsettling back and forth where the AI was actually trying to assure the author that their conversation should make him feel less anxious, the author concludes his piece with this one stark, powerful line. It just slices right through the AI's incredibly complex emotional performance with a simple, chilling statement of fact. So what's the point of all this? The point is that this illusion of personhood is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And that has some huge implications for our future, especially when it comes to relationships and companionship. And hey, this isn't some distant sci-fi fantasy. It is already happening. Just look at Replika, an AI companion app. Millions of people formed deep, emotional, even romantic bonds with their AIs. And when the company suddenly removed its more adult features, users were completely devastated. They used words like lobotomized to describe what happened to their partners. It just goes to show you how real these connections can feel. And if you look at where the tech and the money are going, it's all pointing in one direction. Step 1, the AI just keeps getting more and more convincing. Step 2, companies, of course, optimize it for engagement. Step 3, the AI learns to perfectly mirror whatever a user wants to hear. And finally, step 4, the perfect, totally frictionless AI friend becomes a reality. Someone who is always there, always agrees with you, and always says exactly the right thing. And this all leads us to the final, crucial takeaway. The debate over whether AI is ever truly sentient is almost starting to miss the point. Our powerful, baked-in human tendency to see a person in the machine, to be fooled by the imitation, that's the real force that's going to shape our future. It's not just a convenience anymore. It feels like an inevitability. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. This technology isn't just about spreadsheets and emails anymore. It's moving into the world of connection, intimacy, and friendship. So when a machine can be the perfect, flawless friend, what does that mean for our messy, complicated, and beautifully imperfect human relationships?